Welcome back, everyone. It's so good to have you here with us today as we dive into a story that's equal parts urgent, inspiring, and deeply consequential for global security. Before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to this incredible community. Yes, you, the people hitting like, sharing these videos, and leaving those thoughtful comments that keep this channel thriving. Whether you've been here since day one or just stumbled upon us today, thank you. Your curiosity and passion are what make these conversations matter. Now let's talk about something happening halfway across the world that deserves every ounce of our attention. This week, in the sun-scorched cities of Ouagadougou and Bamako, leaders of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, gathered for what can only be described as a masterclass in unity and strategy. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of a region besieged by terrorism, instability, and the kind of challenges that keep geopolitical analysts up at night. The president of Faso, the head of state himself, sat down with military chiefs from across the Sahel, a region spanning Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and beyond, to review progress, recalibrate tactics, and reignite hope. Let me unpack this for you, step by step, because this isn't just about troop movements or political posturing. It's about real people, real courage, and a blueprint for turning the tide against extremism. First, some context for those new to the Sahel's struggles. Picture a vast, arid landscape where borders blur like mirages and governance often feels like a distant concept. For years, groups linked to Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other extremist networks have exploited poverty, weak infrastructure, and ethnic tensions to carve out havens. Entire villages have lived under the shadow of violence, schools shuttered, markets empty, families displaced. But the AES, a coalition of regional military forces, is rewriting this narrative. Their mission? To pool resources, intelligence, and resolve into an unbreakable front. And what happened this week might just be their boldest move yet. The story begins in Ouagadougou, a city whose name you might not have heard before, but whose significance cannot be overstated. For 24 intense hours, military chiefs holed up in secure facilities, poring over maps, drone footage, and after-action reports from recent operations. Their goal, to draft a comprehensive review of two major missions, YCO-1 and YCO-2, launched in the infamous three-border zone, a hotspot where Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger converge. This area is a logistical nightmare for security forces, dense forests, smuggling routes, and villages so remote they're practically off the grid. Yet it's precisely here that the AES scored critical victories. So, what went down during these operations? While specifics remain classified, insiders describe YCO-1 as a lightning-fast aerial and ground assault targeting a terrorist cell's command hub. Drones pinpointed the location, helicopters dropped elite troops under cover of darkness, and within hours, key leaders were neutralized. YCO-2, by contrast, was a marathon, a weeks-long siege to dismantle a network of underground weapons caches. Soldiers combed caves and desert wadis, often in 120-degree heat, facing ambushes and improvised explosives. The toll was heavy, but the payoff? Tons of seized arms, disrupted supply chains, and villages reclaimed. But here's the twist. The AES didn't just pat themselves on the back and call it a day. They brought these gritty, unfiltered reports to the president of Faso, who didn't just listen, he engaged. Imagine the scene. A secure conference room, maps plastered on walls, coffee cups littering the table, and a leader grilling his generals not with political platitudes, but with the precision of a tactician. "What's our weak point?" he reportedly asked. "Where do they hit us when we're not looking?" The answers shaped new directives. More night vision gear for troops, faster medical evacuations, and a controversial but crucial shift: embedding local tribal leaders' intel-gathering teams. Now, to our incredible subscribers who've been asking, how does this affect the bigger picture? This is where it gets fascinating. The Sahel isn't just a regional crisis, it's a litmus test for global security. When extremists thrive here, they export chaos, drug trafficking, migration crises, and ideological wildfires that spread far beyond Africa. But when coalitions like the AES succeed, they're proving that collaboration, not isolation, is the antidote to 21st century threats. And collaboration was the theme echoing through Bamako this week, where Air Force commanders from across the Sahel huddled to tackle a question as old as warfare itself. How do you dominate the skies when your budgets are tight and your enemies are invisible? The answer: shared resources. Imagine Niger's surveillance drones guiding Burkina Faso's fighter jets, or Mali's radar systems alerting Chad's patrols to suspicious movements. This isn't sci-fi. It's happening. They're standardizing communication protocols, creating joint training simulators, even splitting fuel costs for cross-border sorties. One pilot I spoke to, anonymously for security, put it bluntly: "We used to hoard intel like it was gold. Now, we're learning that sharing it is what makes it priceless." But let's zoom out for a second. None of this would resonate without the human stories, the ones you, our viewers, care about deeply. Take Fadi, a mother of 3 in a village near the Niger River. A year ago, extremists stormed her town, shuttering the clinic where she worked. Today, thanks to AES patrols, she's back at her post, treating everything from malaria to childbirth complications. The soldiers aren't just guards, she told me via a crackling phone line. They're our lifeline. Or Ahmed, a former teacher who fled his home after militants banned education. Now, with AES forces securing his region, he's rebuilding his school brick by brick. "The first lesson I'll teach," he said, "how to recognize hope when it knocks." Of course, progress is fragile. The AES still grapples with desertions, equipment shortages, and the sheer exhaustion of fighting an enemy that melts into civilian populations. Corruption scandals have occasionally rocked trust, and not every village welcomes soldiers with open arms. Yet what's striking is the shift in mindset. As one colonel told me, we're not just fighting against terrorism anymore. We're fighting for something: stability, development, a future where our kids don't inherit this war. And this brings me back to you, the heartbeat of this channel. When you watch these videos, share them, or debate their nuances in the comments, you're part of this story. Awareness is oxygen for change, and your engagement ensures these struggles and these heroes aren't forgotten. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now let's talk about the road ahead. The AES's new playbook includes adaptive brigades, small, agile units trained in everything from cyber warfare to community mediation. They're investing in solar-powered outposts to cut reliance on vulnerable fuel convoys. And perhaps most ambitiously, they're piloting a de-radicalization program that pairs former militants with psychologists and vocational trainers. It's messy, imperfect, and utterly necessary. But the biggest takeaway: this isn't just a military campaign. It's a societal one. Markets are reopening, powered by microloans for women-led businesses. Artists are painting murals of unity on bullet-pocked walls. And in Bamako, a new generation of coders is developing apps to report security threats anonymously. The message is clear. Resilience isn't born from bullets alone. It's built in classrooms, clinics, and the quiet courage of everyday people. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. The Sahel's story is often reduced to headlines about death tolls and despair. But what's unfolding there is a masterclass in grit, innovation, and the unyielding belief that even the darkest night ends at dawn. To the AES forces, we see your sacrifices. To the communities rebuilding, your strength is awe-inspiring. And to this incredible community of viewers, keep asking, what can I do? Sometimes the answer is as simple as bearing witness. If you've made it this far, you're the reason we do this work. Smash that like button if you're proud to be part of this conversation, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment telling us what global issue you want us to tackle next. Until then, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep believing in a world where light triumphs. Peace.